Learning a block Gemara. Today's daf is daf Samach Zayin. It's a Sunday. Okay, Gemara Samach Zayin. We are up to the middle of the page. So the Gemara says, "Ayita, there's a woman, the Amr who gave she told the person, Zil Zabele Aram Bekreva. Please go ahead and purchase a property for my relative." Ozali went, and Zabele bought on her behalf. Amalei, so the relative, the vendor said, "Ihaveli Zuzi, I want to make it conditional that if I have money, Mahadet Loneli, I have the right to go and give her the money, and she must give me back my property." Amalei, so the shliach said, "At the Navla Acha, you and Navla are brothers. In other words, your relatives. Navla could either be the name of the woman, or the Gainim say it's actually he or a she in Lashon Aramaic. In Aramaic, that's how they spoke. Anyway, your relatives. So how do we understand what he's saying? Is he saying that we don't accept, or is he saying the relatives? I'm sure that it'll be all right. Any one time you use that expression, I want that he relies that you accepted the condition, and therefore he's not really selling the land. He plans to give the money back, and that's how it's accepted. So now we ask the question: he's not selling it properly. He's selling the land, but he has the right always to take it back. So the Gemara said. So now he said, the land goes back. What about payday? Does the payday go back or not? Do we say ribas k'tzutzahava? If he has the right to take the field back, which means that if he take the field back, the money he gave, the money that he gave, that she gave for it, is a loan. And if it's a loan, and that person is eating the payros, what happened? Let's say the payday that she ate turns out to be that he gives her back her money. It's as if she lent him money, because he now gives it back to her. You lent it, instead of being a sale, it turns into a loan, and she ate fruits. That is like ribas k'tzutzas, mamish like ribas, outright ribas, mahavteda, and therefore doesn't come and take it away from her, all the fruits that she ate, she has to pay for. Or v'yotzim le'yanin, I didn't say kiavak ribas hapa. Do we say it's not really, since it hasn't been discussed, it hasn't really been negotiated or anything else, it just happened that way. Maybe it's only avak ribas, it's only with the rabbanon, and the bezin will not take the fruits back from her, because it really turns out it might be a loan. Amar Rabuna Mistaba, it makes sense. Kiavak ribas hapa. Rabbi Rabuna says it makes sense that it's only an avak ribas. And therefore we will not take it out with dayanin. Same as Rabbi says, it's only avak ribas because it wasn't really organized, it wasn't really discussed beforehand, and it started out as a sale, not straight out loan. So therefore it's only avak ribas rabbanon, and Bezin will not take the money away. Abai turned around to Ram and said, "What about the case where mashkanta? Let's say it was a straight out loan, and he gave him, and the borrower gave him a land as security, and he did not make up with the lender what has the status of the produce, and he didn't make it like part of the deal. You can keep the produce and it's stop." And the lender went in and started eating the fruits. What do we do there? Sometime I should really cut over there. The reason why we say it's only a vakribus is because we didn't talk about it. Here also we didn't discuss it, we didn't negotiate anything, so therefore we didn't make up about the fruits. So therefore it's only a vakribus, and the bezin, even though to be yotzi de shemayim, you should pay for all the fruit, but the bezin has no right to take it back from the lender. Or Dilmo, maybe we can say there's a difference. Over there in the previous case, you went in and you bought the field, but yet that guy has the right to pay you the money and give it back. So it went in as a sale, as a purchase, and therefore we say it's avak ribos. Over here, it was a straight out loan. You lent me money, and I gave you a piece of land in its place as a security. So if you eat the fruits, maybe that is ribos matay. He said back to him, no, the reason is time the reason the he didn't negotiate. The fact he didn't negotiate, only ribas rabbanon, and bezin won't intervene. Ravina actually, when he came, the situation like this came before him, and he had to go ahead and paskin. What he said was, and he said, no, I don't agree with Rabbi, but who's like Rabbi? When I don't agree with who says sabak ribas, I hold it ribas gomer. No, he didn't negotiate at all, but since now it turned into a loan. And so straight alone, it turned out because he paid you back for the property, and now the money that changed hands in the beginning was merely a loan. And you're going to also turn the buyer turns out to become the lender. They eat the fruits. It's straight out the ribas, and there's us. Amar ben Rabbi Yosef, Mashay Rabba, Mar, the son of Rabbi Yosef, said in the name of Rav, or Rav, the son of Rabbi Yosef, said in the name of Rav, Hamashkanta. There's two kinds of mashkins. One mashkin, in some places the minhag was that if you gave someone a mashkin for a duration of a certain loan, the borrower has no right to force the lender to give back the property early than the date that they set. So therefore, during that period, it's as if the lender owns the property as if he is the owner, the purchaser owner the property. Other places, the din is that the borrower always has the right to pay back the money anytime he wants and take the field back, which means that the borrower has sort of owns the field and not the lender because he can always chase out the lender. So he says as follows: Hi Mashkanta, this mashkin, the asa, the besauke, that in a place where the minig is that we didn't make anything up. The borrower always has the right to chase him out. If the borrower has the right to chase him out, really it's just a loan. And if it's just a loan and the lender eats the fruits and we didn't work out any deductions against the loan, then the din is as follows. If he only ate if he ate the fruits equal to the actual loan itself, if you work out the value of the fruits in the marketplace equals exactly the loan, and now the loiva says as soon as he ate equal to the principal, he says, I don't want you to eat the fruits anymore. So then, what do you call it? Since it's like a loan, misalkinle, we will say that we take the property back because we paid back the principal, and that's it. Now, even though we said before it's avakribis, because Achili came in as if he only they came in through like a transaction, but nevertheless, since even though we say before it's avakribis, because it's not a fixed amount, we just said before it's not a fixed amount, we didn't work anything out, so there's only avakribis. Nevertheless, since over here the loiva was smart enough to come along as soon as it equaled the amount of the principal, and he says that's it. And I don't want you to eat anymore, only what you ate equal to the produce. He has the right to say that. But anything over and above that, if he ate, that is only avakribis. And avakribis, we cannot forcibly take it back from him. As we said before, it's avakribis because we didn't negotiate about the fruits. It wasn't part of the deal. It wasn't part of the arrangement. We don't take away from him. And number one, the lawyer can't say, look, this loan was $100. I owe you from another contract $100. You ate $120 worth. You ate more than 100. This $20 should be deducted from the next loan. You cannot move from one loan to the next loan. Again, because we cannot forcibly take it. It's up to the malva, but we cannot forcibly take away from malva because only a vakribas, so we don't do that. But the yasme, if we're dealing with a lender who's a yasim, and we try to on the behalf of Yisrael, always advocate on behalf of Yisraelim, then we say as follows: same thing. If he ate the value of the money, we take the property back. If you ate the fruits, you say made the fruits equal to the principal, that's it. The borrower no longer owes any money, and he takes the field back. But if he ate more, then we take it back for him. So in other words, we're talking about if the Yisrael with the borrowers in this case, if the Yisrael with the borrowers and the lender ate more than the thing, the Bez is not going to be moichel and say, okay, you know what, that extra $20. No, we take back that extra money as well because they were not moichel at all of the excess that you ate above the thing. It's as if we sent you away as soon as you equal the principal, and you had no right to eat any more fruits after that. For you say also, we will say if there's any excess, we will deduct it from another loan, outstanding loan these you say owe to this person. Said now that you say if you ate over and above, we don't take, it's only a vakribas, therefore we don't take it back from the lender. Then I say even if he ate just the amount equal to the principal, we will not take it back from him. It's up to the lender whether they'll deduct it. Well, the Shemaim say, okay, this will equal to the principal or not, but we won't take it away from him. The loy zuzah without actually paying him outright for the loan. My time, but why? Seluke beloy zuzah, because if you're going to forcibly say to the lender, look, you ate equal to the principal, even though it wasn't organized or anything else, we're going to say that whatever you ate is equal to the principal, and therefore he no longer owes your money to get back his field. That's tantamount to Bezdin forcing him to pay back the interest. It's as if we're forcing him to take it back. But all it is avakribus. You cannot take out with the young. However, once he said that, but Rav Ashi once made a similar case by Yisayim Tanim. Now what? He said that even though that the lender ate the share of money, we do not take it away from them. In other words, if the lender was Yisayim, will not take the fruits back from them. We treat them just like Doilim and we'll say, look, if the whole thing is of Akribis, because we never organized anything, and therefore, even though the amount of fruits, you try to stop them as soon as it equals the loan, you can't say, oh, I just paid you back the loan. It's of Akribis and we cannot forcibly take it back from them. Now the Gemara says, "Ba'as the son of Yisrael, Rabbi, high mashkanta, this mashke and this security that you gave, let's say, property, ba'as the mesauka, in a place where the din is that the loiva has the right, whenever he wants, to force the guy to take the money and give him back the field, which means that the field doesn't really belong to the malva; it's merely on loan. So what happens about the fruits? The only way that the lender can eat the fruits is by by deducting. Now we don't sit down and work out exactly how much fruits are worth. We make a nominal amount, let's say $100 a year. We're going to deduct from the loan, even though the fruits might be $500. So the lender wins from this. But because we did nechiyasa, we worked out a deduction, and the lender is taking a risk. Could be a flood, a drought, and it won't grow, even though generally it will grow. It will worth a lot more. Therefore, it no longer looks like interest. It looks like interest at all, and therefore it is permitted. But this only works in a place where we turn it into a loan, where the borrower has the right to force him out. If the borrower has no right to force him out, then during that period it belongs completely to the lender, and therefore you don't have to deduct anything, because at the time, if the borrower cannot force the lender to give him back the field before the due date, so then during that time it belongs to the lender. He can eat the fruits without any deduction. So we're talking about in a place where the borrower has the right to force him out, which means that the money then turns into a loan. The only way you can eat from the fruits of the lender is if you work out every year a certain deduction. It doesn't have to be the full value, but a certain deduction. But a tzurba midrabban, a rabbi, I feel even the deduction should need, because it looks like ribis. And Rashi says very interesting. Rashi says here, what's so special about a tzurba rabbanon, yeshiva bacher, a rabbi? Rashi says, I'll just quote you Rashi, he has to be always above board. Interesting. He said a Talmid Chacham has to sanctify himself. Even things which are permitted, he should behave as if it's us. Why is that? Pen yilmudu mimenu. I'm just quoting Rashi. Pen yilmudu mimenu lezalzul. So people don't understand the nuances, the intricacies of the law, and they'll say, "Oh, well, the Talmid Chacham can do it. Why can't I do it?" And they'll end up doing something wrong. And they'll think I feel and they won't. Let's say even with deduction, they won't allow the lender to. Mistakes can happen. The Gemara continues. So this Talmid Chacham, is there any way that the Talmid Chacham also should benefit as a lender to have some access to some fruits? What situation? The big kitzusa. Talking about where you not only fix amount, but where you give some limits to how it works, to what you're allowed. As the Gemara explains soon. Permitted. One is forbidden. What do you say then? So now the Gemara explains. The kitzusa plea was a machlek rabachar. One says kitzusa sharia. One of them says that kitzusa is permitted. What exactly are the limitations? Opinion number one. The first 5 years, the lender can take the fruits, and after 5 years, you'll pay whatever you eat. In other words, it's like a sharecropper's arrangement, like an artist's arrangement. And if an artist, you have all kinds of arrangements. You take a third, a half, or I can do it by years. 1 year is mine, 1 year we share. So here, 5 years is totally yours, but after that, you're going to have to pay for the full value of the fruits. So it looks like an arrangement, not the ribis, but like a sharecropper. He can have others say, cold below there's no deduction. Sorry, it looks like ribis, it's forbidden. What is it talking about here? The machlekes over here. The machlekes is between Rav Acha and Ravina. The amale ad chomishin achilin b'chiyos. So the first 5 years need a deduction, a nominal amount, $100, even though it might be $500 worth of produce. But down here you pay the full amount, but there has to be some deduction. Someone has said that without a deduction is forbidden. But here there's a deduction, he'll permit it. I mean, everyone agrees it's permitted. But Mandama Basraisa, but the one who says also Basraisa, the one who says that even with deductions it is forbidden, then Heichi Shadla when is it ever permitted to be eaten by Talmud Chacham? Whereas you know when it's permitted? Ki Mashkante de Suda, the famous mashkin of Suda, how they did in the Suda. And in Suda, what they did was the Kosa Behacha, the right followed the Mishlam Shanya, Elon, Tapik out of double Kesed. The end of the certain period, let's say 5 years, 10 years, then the land goes right back, reverts to the loan and to the borrower, and there's no longer any money. Here, you don't spell out the deductions every year with the fruits. You just say in 10 years' time, the loan is wiped clean, the field goes back. So now it looks like it is a sale, a proper sale. It looks a lot better than we do deduction, nominal deduction every year with still looks like interest is being paid. Here, no, nothing, don't talk about it. It's a sale. But in 10 years, it goes back, reverts back to the borrower. And that's when even Talmud Chacham can do that. This mashkin ba'asad the misalka in a place where the minig is the leva can chase away the malva, therefore it's only alone. Ain't balchayv. I mean, the malva does not own the property at all. So if this malva, let's say, now has the use of the property for the produce, and he owes money to somebody else, that somebody else, the balchayv can go to seize his property, cannot take this property, and why can't he take his property? Because ain't balchayv balchayv can take because it's not land, it's only metalton, and metalton are not meshubed to a balchayv. We're talking about where the Malva died and now his children. The children only have to pay back the properties, but this is not a property. He doesn't own it. The borrower owns it. All he has is the use of the rights to the produce. And because the loiva always has the right to chase him away. So all it is the loan. He doesn't own the property. He just has the pages. Let's say his pchay does not take double portion in the fruits because the fruits is metaltalin. It's not karka. They don't own the karka. It comes alone, and Shemitah, the Shemitah will cancel it. Why? Because there's all it is metalton. There's no property. But in a place where the borrower has no right to chase him away, if the guy has the property, has no right to chase him away, then Balchayv gave them and Balchayv could take him because when the lender died, he gave his children the land. Double the Ein Shvi and Shabtasa. Shvi is will not cancel it, will not cancel the loan because the land, he actually got the land as if he got paid out already. I was just saying, high mashkanta, this mashkin ba'asa, the misalke, in this mashkanta, in a place where the lave has the right to chase him away, is then misalke, chase him away, afilu mitamid avudyu. Even if the dates fell down, and they fell down on a big mat that he placed over there. But since he didn't take it yet to acquire it, it belongs to the borrower because the land really is his. The system of it, but however, if the lender placed already the fruits, he cut them down, put them in his own basket, in his own baskets, then kanin is kanin. But the one that says that the kelim of lekech in the ownership of the meichel, kana lekech can be kaina. So then the mat itself belongs to the purchaser. I feel even if he didn't lift it, even if he didn't pick it up, just like chatzir, since the mat is his, he is kaina it. That's for certain. Ba'asa, the masalka, in a place where the borrower has the right to chase away the lender and take the property back. He's only a loan and the lender doesn't really own it. But he says, Mr. Lak, you know what? The condition is I will not chase you away. You can have the land during that time. How come Mr. Lak? Well, you can always make conditions. So if you make that in your contract, then obviously the meicher can, the lender feels that was his and he can eat from the fruits without having to worry about deductions or ribas. What about Ba'asad Lei Masalki, in a place where the borrower has no right to chase him away? But Ahmad, he said, Mr. Lakna, I want to have the right to be able to chase you away and pay you out, and you have to back the property regardless. The question is, he's going against the general custom. Does he have to make some kind of opinion? Because otherwise, just words going against the custom and the words mean nothing. Or not? Or do we say he doesn't have to make any particular opinion? The fact that he got money and the transaction happened, that's enough to say that it's binding. Now, you don't have to. You do have to. You have to. Omar, if he said, I'm going to go bring the money. I have the money now. Stop eating from the field. Don't eat. Then you're not allowed to eat anymore. Because now the labor, as if the labor already gave the money to the Malva, the Malva has no right to the field. But if he said, I'm going to go and find the money, here continue eating because the money is not there yet. You shouldn't eat. Once happened the case where the guy, took the property, the lender took the property from the borrower, and he worked out a nominal deduction. So they ate from the fruits that the lender was giving them. Rabina Ochel ben Chiyasa. Rav Kana Papa Rav Ashi did not eat. Sorry, Rav Kana Papa Rav Ashi did not eat from that crop, even though it was a deduction. And Rabina did eat. My time at the Manda Ochel ben Chiyasa. Why are you eating with the deductions? It looks like riba is still no ribas midrabanan, something we don't take away forcibly, but it's still ribas. How can you eat from it? So he said, well, you know why? Just like a property that was inherited. A steachuza, which is a property that you inherited and you donated to Hegdish, that you can redeem it back from Hegdish, and we work out an exact trading. The trading gives you an amount every year, the 50 slayim over 49 years, and you deduct every year, if it's only a few years already into the 50, you deduct every year a seller and punyan. So because you deduct every year, even though it might be a lot more fruits, it might be a lot more valuable. So we see from here that the chiyas is good. If you make a nominal amount, it's good enough. Paid it to the, even though you might eat a lot of fruits. The trader says, nevertheless, it's a good opinion. So the same thing over here. You redeem by a seller or seller opinion. Makes no difference. Uman the osar, the one who says it's forbidden, is different. Hegdishi, that's hegdish, and there's a cause. Rachmana ukme opinion. Hoch here havot's alone. It's alone, and therefore, if you're eating the fruits, even though there's a nominal deduction, but you're getting more than that deduction worth of fruits, it looks like ribis. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Mitzvah.